Welcome back. Ever since Orlando Ortiz came to the United States from Puerto Rico when he was 10 years old, he's been giving back to the Rochester community. His desire to do so, born of love and tragedy. Ellie Peters reports.
At just 10 years old, Orlando Ortiz and his family flew to Rochester to visit loved ones. But during that visit, Orlando ended up getting a new home.
And then they said, surprise, we're just going to stay in Rochester.
When they arrived to Rochester, the community provided his family with furniture and clothing, inspiring Orlando himself to give back.
I feel it's a responsibility for me to be able to pay that forward to other folks that may be in the same position that I was in when my family moved here to Rochester.
Orlando has been good to his word, serving on the board of numerous organizations, working as a manufacturing manager and real estate investor, and becoming the president of the popular Puerto Rican festival.
We have a lot of younger kids that are growing up in Rochester that may not have that Puerto Rican culture experience. So for us is an obligation to be able to showcase, who we are as Puerto Ricans.
And through it all, his brother Javier was one of his biggest supporters. Javier was a staff sergeant in the Marines, deployed to Afghanistan. He was passionate about serving and encouraged Orlando to raise the American flag along with the Puerto Rican flag at his festival.
He said, why don't you buy a flag and just throw it in the pack? I'll raise it in Afghanistan, fly for a little bit, and I'll mail it back to you.
But Javier never got the chance to mail that flag. On November 16th of 2010, military members approached Orlando's door in Rochester. Javier had been killed by an IED while trying to protect his squad.
It was, something that I don't want to relive. As I'm sharing this to you, I can vividly remember, almost all those details.
A decade has gone by since Javier's death. His legacy and love for others continues to inspire Orlando's efforts in the community. The festival's 5K race, now named the Staff Sergeant Javier Ortiz Memorial 5K Race. And 6 months after his brother's death, a soldier approaching Orlando with Javier's American flag.
One of his soldiers said, hey, your brother actually raised the flag in Afghanistan, and he raised it and we flew it and we have it here.
Orlando now honoring his brother's word and the two countries he calls home, raising a Puerto Rican and his brother's American flag at the start of each race.
The Staff Sergeant Javier Ortiz Memorial 5K race takes place over Father's Day weekend as a way to pay tribute to Javier, a father of two himself. Ortiz says the race is a good way to celebrate his brother and the Puerto Rican community and culture right here in Rochester. And that brings us to the end of News 8's Hispanic Heritage Month special. It was a pleasure to highlight some amazing stories from the Rochester community today. There are still 2 weeks left of Hispanic Heritage Month, and our celebration will continue in our newscasts every day. To see this special and any of the stories we included today, you can head over to rochesterfirst.com. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.